Nandava, Devashis.
Anwar Gorchandra.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
I was, I saw your daughter the other day in the cafe, and I told her that, but I should have tell you that I am very impressed how you look like a spring. Every time that there is a verse that or something that it needs to be quoted, you have it like in the top of your mind. Are you reading all the time? Something like that?
No, not as much as I should, really. But something stick.
But it's very nice. I mean, I wish I had that sickness myself. It's very nice. Very impressive how you are always like with the right anecdote or verse or something like, bah! I mean, like, very impressive.
Yeah, and sometimes I walk in the room and think, why have I come in here? My short-term memory, I can't remember anything.
Yeah. You go to the kitchen, like, where's the pen? Where is the pen?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's all. We are like that. We are like that.
Yeah.
You go with the keys in the hand. Where are the keys? And everybody's looking at you like with disappointment.
Yeah, you got it.
Tungarasa from, we can't see Tungarasa.
Dandavat Maharaj.
We just see a tulsi plant.
Yes, sorry, the camera is not working.
Okay.
I am sorry.
And Karuna. Oh, there's Karuna.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavats to everyone. Sorry for the lateness. I'm still going through it's been over a couple of weeks and I'm still going through this shingles thing. Yeah.
Dandavat Maharaj, how are you feeling?
Not very well, okay, but just this nerve pain from this.
Maharaj, you never got the vaccine for the shingles?
What?
You never got the vaccine for shingles?
I got the vaccine for shingles some years, well, 3 or 4 years ago, but it didn't. And I read now it was only 30% effective.
Okay, yes. I got the second vaccine recently, like 2 years ago, because they say that it's more effective than the old one.
Yeah, that's pretty smart, but I didn't do that. Now it's too late.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do because I can't donate my body to science. It's too old. So I'll just have to live through this, I guess. How was everybody?
Good, Maharaj. Thank you.
All right, Gaurachandra. Yes, very good posture. No, good posture.
I have to hold it because it's falling. So
your head is on its head is. You have to hold it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's very. I mean, it's heavy, but because not of the brain, but maybe water. I don't know.
Everybody does this. I do that.
Yeah, it's a good posture.
So did we get any questions from Anonymous?
No, not from Anonymous, but we do have a few questions.
All right, let's hear what we have.
So first we got 2 questions from Falguni. And she says, she's reading Jaiva Dharma, and in there the conversation between Anantadas Babaji and Jadava Das relating to non-attachment and what the nature of the world is. There's the following remark. It says, if anyone gives religious advice without practicing himself, it becomes a source of evil to the world. So in relation to that, her first question is, how does this apply to a practitioner that's trying to preach or follow the order of Gurudev to talk to others about Krishna consciousness, when there are so many downfalls during our own life of practice, and when most of the actions we do every day, Krishna is actually forgotten due to our ego?
Yes, but I will take the idea that everyone is trying to be, in one way or another, whether they're succeeding or not, they're trying to be a sincere practitioner. Perhaps they can't live up to all the ideals that they profess, but they're trying. And these kind of situations, for one, there's one comment in the Prapana Jivanamrita by Srila Guru Maharaj. He says that due to so many inabilities or passions, we cannot get rid of so many anarthas which are troubling us. But that the devotee hates, and he used the word, expression like that, hates these inabilities that are impeding his advancement. He hates them. He doesn't like them. And at the time when Krishna is satisfied or happy or chooses of his own sweet will, Krishna can reveal himself in the heart of the devotee, and all these things will melt away like ice. Like ice may be very hard to chip away, but if the sun rises in our heart of the Lord's presence, if he illuminates our heart, then all these things will melt away just like ice. So I cannot say that somebody who gives good advice and is not practicing necessarily in a pure way or perfect way, I cannot discount that advice, and I cannot compare it, as is mentioned in the Jaiva Dharma, I cannot compare it to evil. I believe that remark will more refer to those persons who give advice, religious advice it's mentioned, and they're not practicing anything, nor do they want to practice anything, but they are, masquerading as sources of knowledge or sources of illumination, making a business with this. So I believe it will refer more to it in that way. And we have seen in the past that there are many instances where there were devotees who perhaps were not pure practitioners themselves, but that they gave advice or guidance to a person. And that advice, in several cases that I know of, it changed the life of that person. Like, what was that devotee's name in Italy? I believe he passed away. Who gave advice to Krishna Kanta to meet with Govinda?
Peter Vas.
Huh?
Peter Vas.
Peter Vas. He's no longer living?
I think you're correct, Maharaj. I think he passed away, yes.
All right. But he gave her advice to meet with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and that changed her life. She met with Srila Govinda Maharaj. And there are many instances of that, of somebody who makes an inadvertent, in some cases, it's just even an inadvertent remark. Like I mentioned the case of there was a case of the Sabjiwala who told one person who was there buying vegetables, not a Sabjiwala, but a vegetable wala. He was selling vegetables, and it was late in the afternoon, and he said, "Please hurry, Baba, it's getting late." And that remark, "Please hurry, Baba, it's getting late," caused an epiphany in that person. And from that remark, he expanded it to mean that my life is past or is passing, and I have not utilized it in the service of the Lord. And that person then went to Vrindavan, and lived in Vrindavan, and he built a temple there. I think a person famous as Lal Babu, I think that's his name. Maybe some persons have seen his temple. I cannot talk so much about that person's life, but I've seen the temple, and it's very interesting because it has these curved columns. A very interesting temple. But the person is famous, and there are remarks like that, or the remark, as we know, of Chintamani, who was a prostitute, who told Bilva Mangal that if you had as much attachment to Krishna as you have to this miserable body, then you would be well off. And he was illuminated by that remark, and then proceeded to Vrindavan. So it doesn't, we can't just say that, because I'm not a perfect practitioner, that therefore anything I say will be the cause of evil in this world. I do not believe that remark can apply to devotees. It will only apply to those persons who are actually professing some ideals without believing them in themselves, and no real sincerity. Then there's sure to be some reaction from the false guidance that they give. So that's in relationship to that question. And do we have you have another question from Falguni?
Yes, like a follow-up. So, and she says, how can I actually preach and talk to others when I'm not a good practitioner myself? What should I do?
I'll become a good practitioner. But we're all trying to become good practitioners. And it's natural that a devotee will feel that I'm not a good practitioner, and I'm far from the mark, and I'm not very satisfied with my progress, and my progress is actually nil or not at all. And many times feelings like that, and feelings of frustration. And that's where, in the remark from Prabhupada Jivanamrita, that Guru Maharaj says that when the devotee hates those actions and those passions which take him or her from the path of devotion, when the Lord, out of his own sweet will, is satisfied, the Lord can appear in the heart of the devotee and illuminate the devotee's heart, and all the unwanted things will just disappear like so much melted ice. That example is given in the Prabhupada Jivanamrita. So, I mean, besides what person, what sincere aspirant or person who's trying to be a devotee will ever say that he or she is well situated or happy with his or herself? Who will say that? Who actually will think, oh, I'm so perfect, I'm so advanced, I'm doing everything nicely? Nobody will think like that. I think Guru Maharaj makes the remark, if somebody thinks like that, they become our enemy, isn't it?
Yes.
Someone who thinks, I have understood, I know Lord Chaitanya, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If anyone thinks like that, then that person becomes our enemy. No sincere devotee will think like that. Govinda Maharaj said, Govinda Maharaj expressed it. He says, I consider, my feeling is that I'm a fallen soul. But I cannot say that because I'm Guru Maharaj's representative. So if I say I'm a fallen soul, people will say, yes, he, by his own admission, he is a fallen soul. But he says, I can't say that because I'm in representation of Srila Guru Maharaj, and I can't make that kind of a claim. But he said, that will be the natural feeling of anyone who's actually sincere. They will think that I'm a fallen soul. Anyone who's actually a sincere practitioner will think that I'm a fallen soul. Who will not think like that? Even Mahaprabhu himself expresses that. He expresses that I have no love for Krishna. I'm just maintaining my existence as out of habit. I'm maintaining my body out of habit, like an insect. So those are natural feelings. No one will think, oh, I'm doing so nicely and I'm now. Well, Guru Maharaj does say that first put something in your own bank account before you try to distribute to others. But I do not believe that the devotees here have nothing in their bank account. I think everyone here has been trying to serve and practice, and as a natural responsibility of being a devotee, tries to share Krishna consciousness with others, not with the intention of what Falguni said of the first person who's trying to illuminate others, but rather as a person who's trying to share something which is of value to others, that's dear to oneself, and then naturally one wants to share this with others. One cannot remain silent. One cannot remain silent. One can, out of affection for others, one wants to share with others what is of value to oneself. Just like I heard a remark, I don't know by whether it's, he said, I believe it may be Govinda Maharaj or Guru Maharaj, but said, like, you know, when a wealthy man is like a king, is distributing something, what will he distribute to the poor and needy? Will he distribute some stale bread or something like that? So some people give so much importance to feeding the poor or doing some acts like that. But you know, what good will that do? Because the person will be hungry the next day. But rather, if you give them something of value like Krishna consciousness, of some actual spiritual wealth, that will be satisfying to them their whole life. Right? So anyway, these are my answers to the two questions of Falguni. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, we have another one from Karuna.
Oh, from Karuna, okay.
Yeah, and she says, my question is, why do others make fun of Krishna consciousness? That annoys me. How should I deal with it?
Well, I believe in this day and age, people in general make fun of what they consider to be religious values, because they consider that there has been so much farce that goes on in the name of religion, and so much dogmatism and so much fanaticism and so much trouble created by religion, that it has become now fashionable for people to make fun of religion in general. They'll make fun of religion, and of course they make fun of devotees. It's rather natural to many people that the dress of devotees and the way they talk and the way they sing and everything is unusual, is unconventional for them. I mean, to find someone in society, for in the case of a man, that a person is going out in society with a shaved head, with what appears to be pink robes and playing on hand cymbals in public and singing. That's out of the ordinary, and people sometimes will ridicule that. But I remember once I was in Mexico City in residential area, and I was walking through this, walking on the sidewalk, and one small, like almost a baby, like 2 years old or something like that, who could not even hardly speak, saw me, and I had a shaved head. And that baby said, when he saw me, he said, "Coco," which means coconut. As he was, I believe he was comparing my shaved head to a coconut. And it made me laugh. And so I'm saying, in many cases, why will, I mean, we nobody likes ridicule which is done maliciously. People are trying to inflict some pain on one by ridiculing in a vicious way. But we hear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that sometimes the Muslims and other persons are ridiculing the devotees, and they say Hari Hari, and also apparently Hari Hari in Bengali means I am stealing, and they say, oh, they are always saying Hari Hari, but we do not know what they are stealing, what they have taken, like that. And I remember when I was in Argentina, we were living in a very poor neighborhood, Barrio Once, in Argentina. And that neighborhood was mostly made up of Jewish immigrants and persons like that. And they used to make fun of the devotees, and they'd say, like they'd see the devotees with their hand in a bead bag, but one finger outside the bead bag. So they'd say, they keep that finger outside the bead bag. They keep that finger outside so they can steal. using that one finger to steal with. So, I mean, sometimes the jokes are sometimes the jokes are actually very funny, but we know that we're used to ridicule, we're used to jokes, and sometimes in the process of joking with us, the people engage in chanting. They engage in chanting, and that chanting may not be Shuddha Nam, but it's not always Namaparad. It's not always offensive chanting. Sometimes it may be in the category of Namabash. And according to what we know, that Namabash will, I mean, they'll get some sukriti by repeating the holy name, even if it's done in a joking or ridiculing way. But I can understand what Karuna is saying, that sometimes this is done in a malicious or sadistic way by some persons. They actually want to cause some hurt. And sometimes they may even say some very, wrong or offensive things, which causes pain with the devotees. And we see that in the especially in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's quite repeatedly repeatedly mentioned there how the devotees were suffering with the general atheistic and agnostic society that was always ridiculing the devotees and talking, how the devotees are mad and how the devotees, stay up all night, screaming and causing disturbance to others, and made so many remarks about that. It's mentioned over and over in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, I mean, apparently the ridicule that we're experiencing is not something new, but I found that when I was going out, in particular on Sankirtan, chanting the holy name, and sometimes also in activities of going out and collecting for Gurudev, because that's what I consider collecting is, to collect for Gurudev, that it's very easy to become despondent because people will say no, no, and no ridicule. But actually, after some time, depending how quickly or how slowly, it might depend on the individual, but one learns to become adept at being able to turn the criticism around or convince even those persons who say no, 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 to convince them, by talking to them. And I mentioned this before. I believe the first way of reaching people is to somehow or other, one, listen to what they say, not just their slurs and obnoxious remarks, but I'm in a conversation trying to be able to communicate with people means first being able to hear what they have to say, what is going on in their consciousness or mentality, and then try to be able to approach them based on what one hears from them to be able to convince them. Now, of course, when we're just walking down the street and we hear some abusive remark, what I'm saying now doesn't necessarily apply to that. But I mean, anybody who's interested or trying to talk with other people, to preach to them, has to be able to become used to hearing, all kinds of remarks from other people. I mean, I used to go to see, I was in Argentina. It was practically literally during a civil war. And I used to go to one printing press to print books, which we were distributing to people. And when I would go in there in sannyas beige, or my sannyas clothes. And of course, the workers would sometimes whistle, make wolf whistles and whistle at me and make remarks in Spanish, which I could understand. And they did that. They didn't do it in a hurtful way. They were just having fun. But I had work to do. So I went there numerous times. And in the first couple of times, they would make those remarks or make whistles or stuff like that. But after many times seeing me there, they actually began to develop a relationship with me. And some of them actually became very affectionate, because they saw that, oh, I may look very strange, but I'm there to do business. I was there to print books, and they could see I'm printing books. And then naturally they kind of can begin to wonder what books, what is he doing? What are these books? What are they all about? It can lead from a sense of ridiculing to a sense of curiosity. So, the first reaction, the first thing when somebody meets, someone may face ridicule. And I'm not saying that one should just consider those affectionate. Sometimes people can be ridiculing and they may actually become aggressive. or dangerous. So I'm not saying that one should not be aware of the surrounding in which one finds oneself. I mean, I remember when I went to one park near the temple in East London, that I was told to be careful because parts of that park, you could not, parts of the park, being in that park, you had to be careful of who you interacted with because some people could be aggressive. So, you know, we have to be aware of everything, but in what is the easy guidance? It says, we're trying to become at least on the level of Madhyamadhikaris, and Madhyamadhikari makes friends with it, worships the Lord, makes friends with the devotees, preaches to the innocent, and avoids those persons who are antagonistically atheist, you know, like avoids, you know, makes friends with the devotees, worships the Lord, preaches to the innocent, and avoids those persons who are grossly inimical. What more can you do? And this is, of course, then you can say, but we hear of the Uttamadhikari that sees everyone of any persuasion, sees everyone as somehow or other being involved in Lord's plan and being involved in the service of the Lord. And that's true. But I believe one who's trying to be a preacher, or one who's trying to interact with other persons on the level of giving them Krishna consciousness will not get, first of all, that very position is not necessarily that of the Uttamadhikari. And sometimes we hear that the Uttamadhikari, the highest devotee, will sometimes come down to the Madhyamadhikari level for preaching. But in any event, whatever it may be, I will not even, not even in dreams will I consider myself to be an Uttamadhikari, an exalted devotee. Those qualities are very, very rare. It's described someone on that platform. Just by seeing them, one becomes imbued, or one becomes, you know, has the desire to chant the holy name and begin one's own spiritual life. That is the highest level of devotee. But that's a very special person, and we hear about the characteristics of that person. And those characteristics, we're talking about the Mahabhagavata, the most elevated devotee. You know, the Lord and Lord's Parsha devotees, and so many things like, so many categories like that. We're not just talking about one cannot just say, oh, well, I'd rather see everybody engaged in the Lord's service, and I'd rather see on that platform. Well, you'd rather see like that, but you cannot just say, I'd rather see like that, therefore I am on that platform. Maybe that becomes a nice ideal that you think, I'd rather not discriminate between those who are elevated and those who are not elevated, those who can receive Krishna consciousness. And I'd rather not think of people as being inimical. I'd rather see everybody as engaged in the service of the Lord in one way or another. Yes, you may yearn. You may yearn for perfection. Lavanya Mayi. You may yearn for that. But you cannot just push a button or change your mentality from, you know, trying to compete in this material world to now I will adopt the consciousness of a pure devotee just by, you know, there are so many things. You know, we always preach humility, offering respect to others, and tolerance. So you may feign humility. You may feign you know, offering respect to others. So many times we'll see devotees, like we hear, and even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar, sometimes they're competing to see who can touch each other's feet. And sometimes we've seen devotees like that. They'll actually engage in mock fighting, trying to see who can touch the other person's feet. So it's not difficult to feign or to imitate. It's not that difficult to feign humility. And I saw that and remarked, you know, like one can say, I am the most fallen, but do you really believe you're the most fallen? When you say that, you say, I'm the most fallen. Do you really believe that? Or is it just something you say to ingratiate yourself to others? I'm the most fallen. Or you can say, you are so great, you are so great. And you can feign that giving respect to others. But the third quality is not so easy to imitate or to pretend. And that is tolerant. You're either tolerant or you're not. You cannot necessarily or very successfully imitate tolerance. You can imitate humility. You can imitate giving respect to others, but you cannot imitate tolerance. I heard a story in that respect. You know, the stories of Gopal, I think it's Gopal Bar. Is that the name of the personage? The person, Gopal Bar. There are stories in Bengal of this person. And well, anyway, one time, heard this story. One time the king wanted to advertise that he wanted to advertise and find who are the laziest persons in the kingdom. So then a big feast was organized. Big feast was organized for those lazy persons in the kingdom. So many persons came. And when they came, then by design, the hall where they were taking their meal was set on fire. And everybody ran out of the hall except two persons. And one person turned to one person said to the other, oh, it's getting very hot in here. And that other person replied, yes, just turn over on your other side. just turn over on your other side. And then the king, you know, they were brought out of the hall, and then the king said, these are actually the lazy persons. They're truly lazy persons. It's getting hot in here. No, just turn over on your other side. So, you know, there's so many stories like that they have in Bengal, but, you know, so it's easy to feign humility. It's easy to feign offering respect to others, but it's not so easy to feign tolerance, because if there's some little thing that will happen, you will see whether a person's tolerant or not. Some little inconvenience, you know. Somebody who's not tolerant, they cannot tolerate even, what is the story? They cannot tolerate a bean or a stone under 3 mattresses. Yeah. They cannot tolerate that. Subhasini, how are you?
Dandavats Maharaj, yes, I'm good. Are you better this week? Are you okay? Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I took this medicine. I forget what it's called. Something Veer or something. It's taking 5 tablets a day for 10 days. It was for, what is it? Viral, I don't know, it's a virus thing or something like that. Medicine, I was taking that, and that was supposed to be during the course of time reducing the pain, but it didn't. It didn't reduce it. And now it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still feeling what feels like nerve pain in my back and in my chest. And today, like 3 times during the night, that woke me up, and during the day I feel it also. So, but sometimes it diminishes a little, and then sometimes it intensifies. But it hasn't really diminished so much on a steady level. It's still there. But I don't know. I guess sometimes these things take time. Just have to tolerate it. It's not impossible to tolerate. I mean, I can tolerate it, but it's annoying. And sometimes it becomes a little bit painful, but it's not like excruciating pain, and it's not like unbearable pain, but it's annoying pain. So I don't know what to do. I haven't found a way of dealing with that so much in terms of any treatments. It's been over 2 weeks, been about 2.5 weeks, I guess, or around 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. I don't know. You have some experience in terms of practicing or something?
No, Maharaj, no, I don't. I can talk with my husband. He's, I will probably let you know. He's a doctor. I'll talk with.
I just think it's something that one has to deal with, and eventually things will diminish and they'll go away, or they won't go away, one of the two. But in any event, I'll just have to deal with it as it. I mean, it's not like something that stops me from functioning, but it has impeded my life a little bit in terms of going to the temple and doing programs. I'm not so, I don't know, I don't feel like just sitting immobile in the temple for 2-3 hours doing a program. I did on Sunday, though. I did the Sunday program. And we sang, did the singing, and then spoke for some time. But when it came time for Arti and Prashadam, I just bowed down to the deities and then left. I just did the program because I felt like going on for hours after hour. It was not so, I did not feel so, I don't know, so anxious to be able to do that. In the normal condition, okay. But that's what's happening. I mean, I don't know. I think, so many things happen in one's life. People have to deal with so many anomalies and problems, especially of old age. I've seen people, they had arthritis, they had, what's the word, that kind of rheumatic arthritis and other things like that. People have those inconveniences, and they just have to live with them. There's not too much they can always do about that. So I think it's just deals with just some aspect of life. And I believe we're supposed to say, well, or at least understand that if I got all the reactions of my karma that are due to me, I would be in an unbearable situation. But the Lord very kindly is reducing whatever I've done wrong, is reducing that to this small quantity of measurable pain. Like that. I mean, I know even in this lifetime, things that I've done wrong and before and everything, if I was to get punished for those things that I really done that are very wrong, then I would be going through more pain than this. This would be a very small token example of what kind of pain one can get. So it's not, I guess in that sense, that's not really something that's like outrageous, you know. One sees people all the time that one feels like compassion for them. They have so many difficulties in their life. I've seen many of our devotees here where I live. I've seen many of the devotees, what some of them have gone through in their life is inconceivable. Inconceivable. I've heard stories from them of some of them, what they experienced, you know, accidents and things that happen in their life that are, you know, just then one can understand. Prabhupada used to say, this world is not fit for a gentleman. But I'm no gentleman. I'm no gentleman, but I can find out. I can sometimes find out what's the real value of this world. Before, I remembered the line of a song that I heard when I was a youth. And that line, the singer is singing, the smell of a world that is burning. And then he says, maybe it's just a change of climate. Because people talk about climate change now. People talk about climate change, but they don't necessarily ponder the idea, the smell of a world that is burning. You know, what is really happening with this world? What are they doing to this earth? You know, is it just a climate change, or is it that they are burning the earth from underneath us? Like somebody pulls a carpet out from underneath you. Can it also not be that that this isn't just a change of climate? Maybe people are actually burning this earth. Is that possible?
Almost certainly.
Huh?
Almost certainly is, Maharaj, yeah.
Yeah. It's not such a subtle thing that the temperature may increase and be disastrously increasing by 2 centigrade degrees by the end of 2030 or something, or 2050. I don't know when it is. Well, where I'm living, I see, you know, every year major fires in surrounding areas. You see the smoke become unhealthy and unbreathable in many places. And that goes on every year that goes on. And that wasn't happening. That was not happening I mean, I've lived here in this area for a long time, and I remember when I was young, there was nothing like that. But now it's become very prevalent. So anyway, one can talk about that they have a stubbed toe, but if the building in which they're living is on fire, that's another situation entirely. And in that sense, the inconveniences that one has become rather insignificant when one is faced with more of a, catastrophic situation, which some people are saying that's happening in this world. Do you believe them?
Yeah, definitely.
We don't want to be melodramatic, but I would say there are catastrophic situations which are, I guess that's the norm in Kali Yuga, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the golden age when Mahaprabhu has appeared and everyone has the chance of receiving the mercy of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So much mercy is being distributed. And don't think it's inconsequential. We may think, oh, that's our own spiritual belief. And yes, it's very nice, it's very cute. But no, it may not be perceivable to you in a very, what can we say, a very obvious way. Also, Mahaprabhu himself is not the obvious avatar, is it? He's the Chana avatar. It's not obvious. It's not obvious how things are changing on a consciousness level. Then perhaps on another level, there is some reaction because people are actually exploiting the resources of this world for their own profit without even considering what the consequences are, because they don't really care. They don't really care. I'm engaged in business. This is how I make my money. I'm making money, and what do I know of changes on some kind of imagined subtle platform in this world? Those changes have nothing to do with me. Those changes are just happening on a level of the environment. Always goes through changes. It always has. There's hot and cold, sunshine, rain. Those things are just a natural consequence of life. They have nothing to do with my individual input, isn't it? What do they have to do with me? But what's happening in your life is you're consuming, and what you consume will have to be digested and then excreted. And you cannot say there's no relationship between the reactions that we are experiencing individually or globally. One cannot say they're independent of my participation. That would be rather an atheistic viewpoint. Anyway, do we have any more questions?
Not unless someone else has in the the chat, but I don't have any more sent to me.
I see Lavanya Mayi. She's walking down. Now she's coming back. A very long hall. Walking down a long hall. Now she's close.
It's the kitchen, Maharaj. Just
I know it's the kitchen, but the view from the viewpoint of your camera, it looks like you're walking down a long corridor and then coming back. What are you doing in the kitchen?
I was just making the evening offering. Some chapatis and a sabji.
Okay. So now it is 8 o'clock in London, right?
Yeah, nearly, yeah.
And when is the evening offering?
It goes on at 7:15.
Oh, okay. So you already did the offering, huh?
Yeah, the offering's gone on. I'm just cleaning
Okay.
up.
And sometimes I wonder about the spacing in temples, because I know, like here, sometimes I see that the devotees take breakfast at 8:39, take lunch at 1 o'clock. So from 9 to 1, there's 4 hours, and then take dinner at 8:30. So 4 hours between lunch and dinner, breakfast and lunch, and then 7 hours between lunch and dinner. But in many cases, is lunch minimal in the temples? Like, I mean, breakfast minimal. It's like in India, we used to take puffed rice and muri and sometimes some fruit or sometimes some muri and yogurt.
Today we had dal and toast. We had some lovely dal from yesterday that Saraswati cooked with toast. And other days we'll have muesli, whatever anyone likes. You know?
Muesli's like granola, huh?
Yeah, we got some donated, some nice ones. Or we have like porridge oats. Everyone really has what they like. We don't do for everyone. When there's just a few of us, everyone just picks what they want, you know, big or small.
But breakfasts are generally light. Lunch is more heavy, and then the evening meal.
Going around Peru makes bean, like he does like chili beans for breakfast. Being the Mexican, he likes bean breakfast. So everyone has different, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's different.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So you're in the temple. Is anyone else in the temple there?
Yes.
But yeah.
Saraswati's here. Gornaran's here. He's doing the puja. And that's it. Well, one of the Nanda Govinda's daughters are upstairs.
And Saraswati, you're at home?
The office, Maharaj, in the temple office.
Well, you're in the office and the Lavanya's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So you're within shouting distance of each other.
Yes.
Okay. Where's Pandita? I see her name here. Where is she?
Janardan Maharaj. I'm in the flat in Hounslow.
Oh, okay. You don't stay in the temple.
No. Sometimes.
Where does your mother stay?
She lives really close to the temple, like a 6 minute walk. She has a studio there, so.
Okay. And you, Saraswati, do you stay in the temple overnight, or do you go back to your house?
I'm staying here now.
Oh, okay.
Since August, because I was here every day anyway, all day, so may as well. It's much
Okay. And your son, he now has 2 children?
Yes. Virachandra has 2.
Virachandra has Balaram and
Vinodini.
Vinodini. Okay. So you, Pandita, you live far away from the temple?
A 15-minute bike ride.
By what?
By bicycle.
Oh,
50
okay,
Yeah.
that's not so far away.
No, it's very manageable.
And Krishna Mohini, where are you now?
Maharaj, I am in the room.
Because
We put the light off because Subhadra is going to sleep.
yeah, it must be it's 9 o'clock at night there, right?
Yes, it's 9 o'clock.
And Karuna, are you also keeping? Is your child going to? What is your son? Is he going to sleep now?
No, he's still awake. He's eating right now.
Oh, okay.
Está grandísimo el niño de Karuna.
It's a Mal Krishna, right?
Yeah, he tries to grab the phone. He gets.
That's pretty normal. Most children try to grab it. Oh, very nice. How old is he?
He's one year,
1 and
2 months. 1 year, 2 months.
okay. Very handsome boy. Very nice.
So very naughty. Screams a lot. Nalini taught him to scream. He gets really squeamish.
He's naughty, but wait.
Yeah.
As he gets older, he'll become more naughty.
Yeah. Look, he's screaming.
Does he talk now?
He just makes noises at the moment. I'm not talking.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. Not holding it. Wants to grab it again. Stay there.
All right. And Krishna Mohini, is Shama Sundari with you also? No. Dhanuman, how are both of you? Good?
Que no sé.
I can see.
Ok, ahora sí. Nanda, Maharaj.
Dhanavat. How is Maha Mantra?
How are you? He's
I'm
fine. He's working.
Okay. So late. He's working so late.
Yeah, he's been working a lot lately.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Nice to see both of you.
Nice to see you too, Maharaj.
Ajay Krishna. I haven't seen Ajay Krishna for some weeks.
Dandavat Maharaj. Sorry, I'm just.
Dandavat.
Dandavat, how are you?
Good. So most of your work is with photography, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. We have what's called books on demand, which we have with, it's actually through a branch of Amazon, which it's called Kindle printing.
Right.
And they give us, they have standard sizes for books that you can print economically if you're within those standard sizes.
Okay.
And then of course you have to show that you have the copyrights to the books. But those books have to be laid out according to their sizes.
Okay, according to their specification.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it takes a little while to get, we have to submit a PDF for the cover with four color separation cover. And then we have to submit a PDF for the contents of the book, which has to be according to their sizes. And that's just with black and white and with halftone, no color on the inside. But we have.
So basically it's like if someone wants to buy a copy of the book, then you just print it to order instead of having to print like, I don't know, thousands of copies at once.
They can order on Amazon, and Amazon charges fairly steep prices, like a book like Sri Guru and His Grace off Amazon would cost about $20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they have what they call author's copies, and you can order them if you're the author or have the rights to the book. Then you can order 1 to, I don't know, 9. You can order a number of books, and they'll print them to you. They'll print them and they'll send them to you. And of course, if you ask for one, then it's more money because the shipping is high. But if you ask for 10, 20 copies of a book, then it's less. But what I'm looking for now is someone who can help, who may know InDesign or something like that, who can lay out the books according to the size of the specifications.
I think Mahamantra would be the best person for that. I personally don't know layout and InDesign. I don't know how to use it. I know Photoshop, but that's not really suitable for that type of job. I think Mahamantra would be the right person.
And if anyone else here knows about persons who work with, with those kind of parameters of the specification, I don't know so much about. I'm used to composition, but I'm not used to working so much with Photoshop or with InDesign. I've always worked with Quark Express. I could lay out the books according to the specifications of Quark Express, but I'd still need help with the halftones. But in any event, anyway, that's of interest to me. Right now we have available for printing, and we can tell them, print this book and I'll get the book within 2 weeks. Bhagavad Gita, Sri Guru and His Grace, Golden Volcano, Search for Sri Krishna, and Subjective Evolution. Those are the 5. Those are 5 books that have already been approved, and I can order those. Books.
In any case, if you need any help with Photoshop related work, of course I can be at your service anytime.
Okay. Maybe I'll ask you about preparing halftones or something, but
I'll look into it.
But I think most of those halftones are already available. They're already available in the right sizes. It's more, the books that were originally printed by Goswami Maharaj.
Yes.
Well, those original publications. In general, I think these, like say, taking Golden Volcano as an example, these books that have to be made according to specification, they're about half an inch higher. The rest of it is almost the same.
Mhm.
But I'd be interested in, because if one meets the specification, then at least theoretically one can have any number of books, like 100 books that you can say they're all in print. I
That's
have
right.
availability of all these books. As long as
Yeah.
they're approved, then I have availability of them. And they're not so expensive as buying them from Amazon, because the author's rights, I can say, send me 50 copies of this, and
Mhm.
there'll only be maybe it'll be a little more, the normal size books, maybe $4, maybe $4 a book, a little bit more. Not so bad.
That's not too bad. What is their turnaround time usually? Like, are they pretty quick with
2
printing?
weeks.
2
Around
weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Mm. I guess that's not so bad, because a printing house would probably take longer.
Oh yeah, printing.
Yeah.
Printing, you have to really print books. In many cases, you have to print at least 1,000 books to get a
And
decent
that's the other
price.
thing, yeah. And that's a huge cost.
And this, you can just say, I want 2 of these. It's almost like going into a bakery shop. I'd like 2
Yeah.
of these, 3 of these, but I had like 5 of those and 10 of
Yeah.
those, and 1 of those, and
Sounds like a really good thing, actually.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, seems to me it's like the future of printing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if you want to pay more money, you can have everything. You can have irregular sizes. You can have
Mhm.
you can have color pages. You can have whatever you want. You can have it. Just increases the price.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely sounds like the future of printing.
Yeah, I
Make
think it's
to order.
anyway. So I just know that you're good with photography. I thought you might be good with layout, but that's not
I'm
so.
so sorry, I have no experience with that. But do you want me to ask Mahamantra for you? I can drop him a message, and then I'm pretty sure he knows how to do this stuff.
Yeah, please do. That would be
I'll
nice.
do that. Yeah, I'll send him an email.
Right now, Sham Sundari, she's logged on, and so is Krishna
Yeah.
Mohini. They practically they live with him, so
Yeah.
So they're
I'll
hearing
send
this
him-
also. Like, actually, maybe
I'll
it's not
send him a message anyway.
maybe it's not good that everyone hears this, but this has been something that's going on my mind. I had Pandita once help me. I'm also thinking I can just take the books, scan the books, which she did on one occasion, scan the books, and then size the books according to the scan. Just change the scan according to the size of the books necessary. And maybe it's not even necessary to lay out the books. Okay, they could just be scanned and then made to size. Then that's also a useful option. Not
Does
having
that give you good enough quality? Is it like print quality if you scan an already printed material? I'm not sure.
I think it can be, because when I was in Argentina, I worked with somebody who had a web press. As a web press, it's like those big industrial presses.
Yeah.
And on a web press, they'll print the book, they'll cut the book, they'll make the book, and it comes out of the printer. It comes out of the printer wrapped with cellophane, shrink wrapped. I mean, the book is printed and everything with the color and everything comes out of the press in a package as a shrink wrap book. And it's incredible. That printer didn't like to turn on the press for anything. I mean, he wanted runs of 100,000 books.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said that sometimes there was as much waste as up to 10,000 books just
Yeah.
trying to get everything registered.
Just to get everything set. Yeah. 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 On those big machines, unfortunately, that's how it is.
Yeah, but I printed a book with a press like that, and it was teachings of, I was in ISKCON, but it was teachings of Queen Kunti.
Yes.
And all the colored paper, all the colored pages and everything, the cover, the colored pages and everything, the person just scanned them.
Okay.
Scanned the colored paper, colored pictures, scanned the contents of the book, and then printed it.
Okay.
And it came out, it actually came out quite nice.
That's interesting. Good
You
to
know,
know.
they have scanners, they have professional scanners.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And the whole idea of offset printing is it's not printing from lead letters, it's printing from the images, right?
Yeah, it's basically photo transfer in a way. The entire plate is what they use for printing also. So they have to photograph the actual page first in some way.
Maybe boring the devotees talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just something of interest to me.
But I will definitely send Mahamantra a message and ask him.
Because I remember Govinda Maharaj, he always liked it. He always liked that books could be printed.
Of course.
Guru Maharaj didn't like that books would be given away or distributed without cost.
Oh, really?
Guru Maharaj wanted that people would actually want the books. One of the interesting things about printing books, like I just told you about printing, like books, it's called books on demand. They come. I'm sure they have something similar in the UK, but here in America, they actually come with the Library of Congress number or whatever it is. Not the Library of Congress number, but it's the ISDN and the barcode and everything on the back of the book. So you could take the book from the printer and go to the book. You could go to a bookstore and if you could show them the book and they could say to you, yes, I want 100 copies of these. And you could give it to them and they could sell it in their book because it has the ISDN code on it.
The catalog, yeah.
It's pretty amazing to me. I'm like interested in this because especially nowadays, devotees are having so much, sometimes they have trouble getting books from India. They're all being stored in India. But imagine if instead of ordering from India, you could just log on to your computer and order them and they come to your door in 2 weeks. I mean, how long are they going to take to come from India and how are you going to get them? So
yeah, it would make perfect sense just to have them printed wherever you are instead of keep them.
Sorry, and Jai Govinda Prabhu in Ireland, he just printed the Bhagavad Gita, Guru Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita. He did a reprint. I think he's sending some over to you.
Yeah, I have.
And it was very nice.
If you wait 1 second, I'll show you the Bhagavad Gita that we have. It's quite beautiful, I think. And this is what they did. This was done by Sarvabhavana Prabhu. He laid it out. This is the Bhagavad Gita. It's a nice size. It's the same content as the small Bhagavad Gita that comes from India, but it's a bigger size and it's much easier to read. And it has everything here. The Sanskrit, the translation word by word, exactly the same. And it's this size. This is the standard size. All the books are this size. And you can see here, that's the library ISDN barcode. You could put this in a bookstore, but it's a perfect book to read. I think she would say in England, quite lovely. You know, it's quite lovely. It's really a nice book. Everything is there. And even somebody, you know, it's made in such a way you don't have to squint or anything to be able to read this. And it has the Sanskrit all done in bold letters, like, I guess like a small Bhagavad Gita, I assume. Does a small Bhagavad Gita, does it have italic or bold letters? Do you remember?
Bold.
Things bold, yeah.
Okay, that's the way Govinda Maharaj liked it. What a nice book. And all the books can be, and this book, let me see, it has more than, I believe, more than 400 pages. But it is, in terms of its width and its height, it's a standard size. It's a little bit bigger than, say, if you have a copy of Sri Guru and His Grace. Well, you have now a new printing of Sri Guru and His Grace, so it's not a standard size. But say the original copy of Sri Guru and His Grace, or Golden Volcano, or Search for Sri Krishna. This is more or less approximately the same width and the same height, just a half-inch taller the height. But just mentioning to you because really would like, I don't know, I would like to put this in, so to speak, high gear, and I myself, I'm getting old. And I don't know how much I individually could do, but it would be, think how nice it would be if we had, say, 100 different titles of books, all available, and you could get, and somebody could say, I need books for my temple and I want to have 20 different titles, and then we could just say, okay, send us 20 of each of these titles. I mean, just how nice that would be. And then by, you know, by some mail service, all of a sudden packages of books come to your door at the temple. You open the book, packages of books, and suddenly you have 20 new titles, and they've come within 2 to 3 weeks. Man, what could be more optimum than that?
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely look into this, Maharaj. I don't know if it's available in the UK or in Europe.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Is it already? Okay.
It is,
Yeah,
because
I'll look into
it's
it.
through Amazon.
Okay, so they do it here too.
But you don't. But it's not so feasible for you to buy the books from Amazon. The author can get what they call author's rights. The author can have rights to the books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So right now, those rights are with the mission, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sure.
Anyone else have comments or questions? I don't want to. I'm sorry if I'm, you know, talking about things that people say, oh, this idea of books, it's not, book printing is all technical, doesn't have so much to do with my life, right? I know, I can see that that's true. Why is he talking just about books when he could talk in a private phone call with somebody? But I like to put these things out into the environment, so to speak, because I believe that this is something that is part of our life, to be able to read this literature and offer it to others, you know.
Definitely.
Yes, Maharaj, that's very important. We have always book requests from different places. I just got an order from Norway.
From
one devotee that I don't know. His name is Dayanidhi.
Where is Tungarasa?
I am here, Maharaj. I'm actually at work today.
What?
I am at work. I'm in Norway. I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just working today, so I cannot.
Oh no, but I know
very
you're
active.
there. I'm not asking. I would. It is just that Saraswati mentioned she had a book order from Norway.
Yes, I don't know this person she's talking about. I don't think I know.
Okay. So anyway, I think, well, any more questions? We can end here. I'm happy to see everyone. You know, this is really, oh, there's Lavanya Mayi from our East London temple.
Dandavat, Gurudev.
Dandavat. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Gurudev.
And your daughter is Sudevi, right?
Yeah, she is okay.
How old is she now?
She's nearly 3. Next March, she will be 3.
Oh, okay. You have any other sons or daughters?
Sorry, Gurudev?
You have any other sons or daughters?
No, only Shudevi.
Okay. Oh, Sudevi, very nice. Anyway, I'm going to. Everyone here is like everyone here. I know all the persons here, and it's like that's like being in my family, with my family. I know all of you, and I'm happy to be able to see you. So next week I'll look forward to seeing all of you again.
Jai Maharaj.
And Sham Sundari, tú puedes. Tú puedes mencionar a Mahamantra de lo que hablamos acerca de los libros, ¿no?
Sí, escuché un poquito, llegué un poquitín tarde porque estaba poniendo a su padre a dormir y escuché un poquito y le dije que estaban hablando de algo y ahora luego le cuento bien cómo es.
Sí, en el futuro cuando tú le hablas.
Ok, Maharaj. Creo que entiendo más o menos lo que se trata, de que los libros estén disponibles para imprimir en cualquier momento, ¿no? Más o menos. That the books, was it about having the books available to print at any time, something like this, from Amazon?
No, está más relacionado de tener alguien que puede ayudarnos en preparar por computadora el tamaño del libro para tenerlo de acuerdo a las especificaciones de lo que ellos quieren, el tamaño de los libros, imprimirlos. Okay.
Well, yeah, to have the layout in the size. Okay. All right, Maharaj, I'll let him know.
Yeah, the books can be in English or Spanish or any language. If they meet the specification, they'll print them. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I could also maybe help with it, if possible.
All right. My dandavats to all of you. Hope you're all well. We'll see you next week.
Dandavats, Maharaj.
Jai Maharaj. Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
Actually, any inconvenience or that I'm feeling I forget when I'm talking with the devotees like this. So it's nice. Okay, Dandavat.
Dandavat.